Spam risk, get out of here. Go to voicemail. Let me put my iPhone into driving mode, which is all I use for when I'm podcasting, because I don't have a car in New York. What's good? Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of The Newest Olympian. My name is Mike Schubert. I'm the titular Newest Olympian. I'm a 34-year-old man who never read the Percy Jackson books as a kid, but I read them as an adult because I was on a quest to determine if society had been sleeping on the series. I said yes, and now I'm seeing if society has been sleeping on the Heroes of Olympus series. And it took me about 5 different times to record this intro because this is the first House of Hades episode that has not been a live show, which is wild. We've had an unprecedented run of touring and such with covering this book. I got way far ahead to finish up book 3 and then did enough live show stuff, but now we are here for a chunk of studio recording episodes, and I'm very excited for our very special guest because I'm never on this journey alone, and I'm joined by a very special guest making their second appearance on the pod. It is someone that you might know as the co-host of the That Aged Well podcast. It's Paul Caiola. Paul, how's it going?
It's going great. I am thrilled to be back. My first visit was the first time I've ever had anyone tell me to read the comments. And
Yes.
you were like, no, people enjoyed it. I never read the comments.
All of the comments were like, Paul was fantastic. You got to get Paul back on the pod. Please, please, please. And then, as I have mentioned in the episode that has been recorded but hasn't come out yet, unless people have got the stream replay on the TNO Patreon shop, there were many people requesting you be the guest for the big Nico reveal chapters. Now, people weren't telling me exactly what was in them, but I got enough emails suggesting you and other queer folk to be the guest that I was like, I'm going
to put on my Encyclopedia Brown hat here, and I think I sense something is up in the ether.
There might be a closet that someone is emerging from in these chapters. But yes, many people were excited to get you back in general. Many people are excited to get you back for that episode in particular. But we are here now for something not too far, just so that we can give the people what they want. What are your general thoughts of the Nico reveal? Obviously, not the most ideal way to let the world know, but you know.
It's very interesting because, as we've said in the last episode I was here, I'm old. I'm much older than the general fans of these books. I like these books. But when I was growing up, like when I was reading these kinds of books, there were no gay characters in them at all. I mean, occasionally you would get like a very side character, usually a gay woman or a queer woman, not a gay man, a queer man. Like that was very rare. And I just remember, like, if I may invoke She Who Must Not Be Named with her big series that you also did, like when all of that came out about afterwards, oh, Dumbledore was gay. Why didn't everyone know Dumbledore was gay? And like everyone younger than me was like, your reaction, and everyone like my age and older was like, oh, okay. We weren't offended at all because it was like, of course she didn't say anything, you know? And then I remember reading this one, and it was like the first time I'd read one of these books where it was like, oh, this author is like, he's on our side and he's going to make it clear. And I remember it really being a moment where I was like, I'm going to read this guy's books forever because he has like a good heart and I want to support him. And I think that instinct has proven very true with everything Rick Riordan has done since.
Yeah. Guy is great. He really seems like he's trying to do a good job of it. And yes, that was the general sentiment of people in the comments of the live stream and people on the Discord afterwards and stuff. Just a lot of people saying, you know, I was at a very impressionable age and I was going through my own questions when I read this, and this made me feel really good just to know that there was an author being really explicit about it. I think with the JK of it all, I can see how at the time when the book came out, it was, you know, late 2000s, kind of hard. Like, I get it. The reason I am such a grown eye roll in response to it is because you made a play years later. You made multiple prequel movies about Dumbledore years later, and you could never have an explicit thing. Like, you had so many other chances to even just do like the little thing, have him say something very direct, have a photo and have it be explained like, oh yeah, we used to date. Like, there's so many things where you could just like very quickly just be like, oh yeah, I'm interested in men. Like, it was so easy and you had so many chances and then you didn't do it. Makes me think you were trying to get diversity brownie points without actually putting in the work because of the potential backlash you might get, a la the peck in Lightyear.
Right. Like, absolutely. And to be clear too, by the time she was doing all of that, plenty of authors like Rick Riordan had made it clear that, like, generally speaking, this community was very welcoming of such things, I would say.
Right, because Cursed Child and everything, I had already started Potterless when that was, like, coming out.
That was before she fell off the whatever cliff she's currently, whatever cesspool she's currently swimming in.
Billionaire Mountain, where no one's told her no in 30 years.
Yeah. It's not good, kids. It's good to hear no.
Yeah, it's super nice. It's really good. So everyone, start a YouTube channel so you can get a bunch of comments, people making fun of you for anything and everything.
I've said it for years. Bullying is bad, but it also works. I don't know. I mean, like, it works.
Yeah, man. Get something in your life where you can be humbled. I think probably the healthiest one is get some friends or a significant other who are not afraid to call you out lovingly when
100%.
you need to be called out. That's probably the healthiest way.
A little loving bullying from a good friend.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Light prodding. Someone keeping you in check is good. But anyway, let's get into these chapters. We're going to be covering chapters 43 through 45 of the House of Hades. We're going to be starting with some Piper chapters and then concluding with a Percy chapter. So where we last left our heroes, we had Keonian crew come through. They're back, the Cold family, and they're going to do some ice stuff. Oh, I got to ask you the second guest question. So the first question when a guest is on is how'd you find the books? But the second one is what cabin would you be a part of? Have you thought about this? Is there a cabin that you feel an inkling towards?
Well, so this is an interesting question because for me, ever since I was a kid, my number one favorite Olympian has been Artemis since I was a child. Cool. She's awesome. However, for obvious reasons, Artemis is not interested in me. And also my level of interest in like outdoorsiness generally does not hold up with her level of interest in it. So that wouldn't really work. I think at the risk of sounding extremely impressed with my own intelligence, I would wind up in Athena.
Ooh,
because I really did like homework, and I to this day like homework. Like working on the podcast, I love knowing what I have to do and getting it done. What a thrill all the time. And then also, like, I went to theater school. Like, I'm an artsy kid, so like an artsy geek was kind of who I was as a kid. So I feel like Athena or like Iris, because rainbow. So one of those two.
I love it. I do. That's fun that you mentioned the homework thing. I've never thought of it this way, but I operated much better in high school as opposed to college, which was like you have a test every 2 weeks. You might have a quiz every week. You got homework due every X amount of days. I operated much better in the strict regimen as opposed to college, which was like there's 3 tests a year. So you got to start studying when you
figure
think
out a
you
schedule.
Might need to. I despise that. Or I guess 3 tests a semester or whatever it was. And even now, you got the motions of with the podcast, like you got to do this podcast every week, whatever. And then I have these other long-term things on the back burner where there's no strict deadline. So I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah. I have 2 running to-do lists at all times. It's like the daily, weekly to-do list and the one where I'm like, I have these recordings coming up that are out of sync. I have this, like, these books I have to read that are out of sync, and like 2 things going all at once, which I feel like is Athena coded. I feel like she would honor that. That would be like an honor of her, I guess.
Yeah. I think you would also vibe well with my wife, Kelly, who is very organized, and she's an Athena cabin camper for sure. She has this very intense daily / monthly / weekly planner where it has multiple like layers. So the backdrop is all in a month, and then there's like each individual week card that takes up like a third of the page, so you can flip the weeks, but then the month stays in the background.
Oh, what a dream.
Yeah, it's really nice stuff.
Mike, this is a family show. We can't talk about this anymore. I just want to know, is this a physical planner or is this an electronic thing that she has?
Physical planner.
Beautiful.
She's got multiple highlighters for it. There's like tape that you can run along the top in different colors to denote certain weeks and stuff. Yeah.
If I should ever be so lucky as to meet her, I want a request for her to bring that because I really want to see
it happen. We've got a live show for TNO in Brooklyn in August. Come through and I'll tell Kelly to bring the planner. And it'll be great. All right. Anyway, Percy Jackson. Let's get into it. So, Kelly also wanted me to let you know that she hates The Breakfast Club. In honor of your That Aged Well / Things Didn't Age Well. My dad and I were very excited to show The Breakfast Club, which I had not seen for a long time. And soon into watching it, I was like, oh no. And Kelly did not enjoy it at all, which I think is the correct approach watching it in the 2020s.
Yeah, John Hughes it has more pitfalls than you expect in John Hughes.
Yeah.
Some Kind of Wonderful is pretty good. You can get away with Some Kind of Wonderful.
I've not seen that one, so I'll have to check it after talking about Percy Jackson. So we're here, chapter 43. It's called Piper. It opens with, quote, Piper didn't plan to shoot blueberry muffins. And The cornucopia, I think, is very funny. I think it's silly and goofy. And I, as an appreciator of the goofy things in this book, love it. I think it's silly and obnoxious in a fun way. I wonder what the general fandom read on the cornucopia is. Like, are people mad about it because it's super silly, or do people think it's fun? I think it's fun, but it is ridiculous.
I generally think it's fun, but I would also like it to use its head a little bit. Does Piper have to do everything? Can we throw something flambéed at the snow goddess? Do we have crepe Suzette? Do we have bananas Foster on the menu? Like a freshly
crepe
lit...
Suzette?
Crepe Suzette is like a crepe that you put like an orange liqueur. The name of it starts with an M. It's out of my head. And then you light it on fire. I like it. It's a very like fancy dessert from the 80s.
Ooh, crepe Suzette is a French dessert consisting of crepes with beurre Suzette, a sauce of caramelized sugar and butter, tangerine or orange juice, zest, and Grand Marnier. That's one with the
Grand
M.
Marnier.
Triple sec or orange curacao, liqueur on top, flambéed, table side. You can't. You have to get this in a restaurant or make it next to the table.
Or risk your own eyebrows, basically.
Bring the oven to the table. Oh, wow. Okay. That's smart. Yes, I agree. The horn could be using its brain a little bit.
But you know what? Maybe Caiola is a celiac disease. Maybe she's gluten intolerant. Maybe the horn knows something we don't.
I guess, yeah. Are they gluten-free muffins?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's the slight thing where Pepper's like, oh, maybe she was thinking of warm. The muffins are warm. But yes, you would think there'd be something better to shoot at the ice people. So apparently these muffins shoot out like a shotgun in a spread pattern, and Narrator Pepper lets us know this is probably not the optimal way to start this fight. So Caiola just dodges them. The brothers are able to easily dodge them, but Cal grabs them and starts eating the muffins, and he's very excited. So we have Cal, short for Calais, the hockey guy, if we remember him from the Quebec chapters of The Lost Hero. And then we have Zethies, the more lanky, fancy clothes wearer, and he's wearing chartreuse polyester, very tight, flared out trousers and a Brian Colangelo level of intensity collared shirt. People who have listened to the first episode of Horse will know this one. It's a rare sports reference on the pod. But this brings me to a point I've wanted to make for years. I love that I finally have the platform to share this. But chartreuse and vermillion should switch names, because chartreuse sounds like it should be reddish pink and vermillion sounds like it should be green. And the fact that chartreuse is green and vermillion is reddish pink, I think is incorrect. I think they need to swap.
Very interesting. I'm not against it. I support it.
I think because vermilion with verde, it just feels like green to me. And chartreuse, I don't know. My entire life, I've thought it was pink and or red.
It sounds almost like a deep purplish red to me.
Sure. Yeah.
Something
to me,
like
it just
that.
feels like a flower.
Yeah.
Like chartreuse feels like a flower, and I don't know of any like green flowers.
Fair enough. You did skip over one part in this paragraph that I do want to bring up. Rick writes a horrible disco age mullet. And I want to tell you, I was on the internet for about 10 minutes trying to figure out what the heck a disco age mullet was. And there is no answer. The best I can figure out is that a disco age mullet, because discos would be like 70s, and then mullet would be like 80s in my perception of it. That a disco age mullet, mullet like business in the front, party in the back.
Right.
Disco age is going to like curl the front. So it's like casual Friday in the front, party in the back. It's like more exciting throughout the entire thing, but I'm not sure. Willing to be corrected.
I was imagining John Travolta Saturday Night Fever hair, but that just went longer. Like
so like a pompadour with a tail.
Pompadour in the top and then flips up in the back. Oh, no. Have you seen Caddyshack?
Yeah.
Tony D'Annunzio from Caddyshack, the evil caddy that we don't want to win, who has terrible golf form. I don't know how he was close to, I forgot the name of the guy we're actually rooting for, Danny Noonan. Yeah, like Danny Noonan, that actor can legit golf. The Tony D'Annunzio golf is like pretty rough. And Googling Tony D'Annunzio has brought me to Real Humans. No,
and all the time I have talked about Caddyshack, I've never heard anyone critique the golf form. Ever in my whole life.
I've played
Congratulations.
enough golf where it's one of those things when I watch, this is in my ever confusing life of being either the jockiest nerd or the nerdiest jock. There's things where I couldn't watch the Zendaya threesome tennis movie. What's that? What's that one?
Challengers.
I played tennis a lot of my life, varsity tennis. Like I still play tennis now. I watched one trailer clip and I was like, I just can't do it. Like it just takes me out of it. On the flip side, the Will Smith tennis movie with the Williams sisters, those actors, they could play. Like they looked legit. And then there's other movies that do it, like Little Big League hired a bunch of minor league baseball players to do it. Famously, they got like college and some other hockey players in Miracle. Like it just really,
Sure.
if you're enough of a sports person, it just really takes you out of it. And yeah, just watching D'Annunzio golf is just like rough. But I think that hair could be the disco age mullet.
Fair enough. Fair enough. The worst tennis I've ever seen on screen, if you ever want to torture yourself, there is a tennis scene in The Witches of Eastwick in which Susan Sarandon, Michelle Pfeiffer, Jack Nicholson, and Cher play doubles. And it is the worst tennis I've ever seen in my entire life. Susan Sarandon chokes up on the racket to just underneath it. To serve. It'll make your skin crawl. Highly recommend. Great movie.
I have the same feeling as when I hear styrofoam rubbing together
Yes.
right
Yeah.
now. Yeah, I'll have to just hate watch that. That sounds great. Okay, so anyway, disco age mullet. I'm glad you brought this up as a thing to call out. So he's got this whole look going on, and Zethes says, "Oh, I knew you would miss me," to Piper. And then I had to remember that Piper can understand his Quebecois French because it's the language of love. And as someone who lived in Paris, I know that a lot of the Parisians out there who despise Quebecois French would very much not agree that Canadian French is the language of love. They, and this is their words, not mine, because I don't know enough about French to know the difference. They think it is not on the same level. It is not the language of love. I think they'd be offended knowing this. But French people, hit me up in the email. Let me know if you scoffed at this line.
Yeah. I can't even say Quebecois.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think it's probably Quebecois. It's one of because it's more of like a Quebec, not a Quebec, right? I don't know.
I think
every time I tour in a city, I learn I've been saying it wrong, and I felt really good because I did a show in Atlanta recently, and I did the thing where I said Atlanta and not Atlanta. But then even on stage, I talked about taking the public transit, which is the MARTA, but spelled like the first name Marta. So I said, "Oh yeah, I took the MARTA," and then after the show, everyone was like, "It's the MARTA," and I was like, "Yeah, I will never leave Atlanta without learning I've done something wrong." So I just got to keep coming back and doing shows. So she can understand the French. Piper then charm speak demands this crew to release her friends, and it works on the brothers, but not on Keone. She then snaps Zethes out of it, and Zethes says that they have orders to bring her friends back to Quebec. And Piper begins to ask about these orders, but then she thinks about how she's been expecting the return of Keone. She's confused, though, as to why the brothers are here, because they seemed much nicer.
She reminds us where they defeated them before, which was the Wolf House in Sonoma. And I realized the Wolf House is referring to like the Roman wolves, if I remember correctly. But
yeah, Lupa and her crew.
Yeah, Wolf House in Sonoma does sound like a winery that's owned by like 2 Minnesota NBA players, right? Like that's
Which two? Which two?
Oh, the fact that I knew the Timberwolves from Minnesota, I want credit for that, and I'm out.
You got the credit. I will continue.
Christian Laettner.
Christian Laettner, did he play for the Timberwolves?
Is that a deep cut that I actually got right?
I mean, he's a great option for this because he's like a snooty kind of white guy. Did he ever play for the Timberwolves? He did. He did.
Look
for
at
his
that.
first 4 years. There
That's
you
in
are.
There. Why did I remember that? No
I'll
idea.
say the other one. That's a great first selection. The other one I'll say is Tom Gugliotta. Just again, another like pasty white boy who could probably start a wine shop with a bad name. And any chance I get to let the world know that there was a professional basketball player whose name was Tom Gugliotta, you got to take that opportunity.
There's not many of us who have Italian descent that wind up in the NBA, I find. Generally a little vertically challenged for it.
But not with your pompadour hairstyle. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, but maybe vertically challenged with even the Tower of Pisa leans. It's just height in Italy. It doesn't.
We don't like it.
Doesn't work out. So Piper tries to level with the boys that Keone is working with the giants to raise Gia, going against the wishes of Boreas so that she can usurp the throne.
Mike, I have to interrupt you because I forgot to tell you something.
Yeah.
I forgot to send you something. As you know, I watch Jeopardy and I will occasionally send you something, a Jeopardy clue. And I forgot to tape this one. Ken Jennings said Gia on Jeopardy.
Ken, come on the pod. That's
Ken,
wild.
please come on the pod. He said it, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I like dropped. I missed like the next 3 questions.
That's great. There's been a good run of people sending me Jeopardy stuff because I believe there was a Percy Jackson thing on a Jeopardy episode.
Yeah.
And then I believe they had a WNBA category very recently as the league is coming back. It's currently in the preseason at the time we're recording this on May 7th. And I think there was a third one. But yeah, wow. Ken said Gia.
He said Gia. Wow. I was shocked because when I first started listening to your show, I was like, why is he saying it like that? And you very smartly will redefine why you're doing doing it periodically, which is smart. Because I was like, I always thought it was Gaia. And then I'm like looking it up, like, am I wrong? How do you pronounce this word? Anyway, he said Gia, and I was floored. Maybe there's two pronunciations. Who knows?
For a peek behind the curtain, if anyone is wondering the times in which I refresh everyone about the Gia thing, it's if I have a new guest on who I've not explained it to before recording, or if I'm doing it at a live show and I say it because I don't want the people dragged along to the live show who don't know who I am to be like, this idiot. Because I am, as we've talked about with the YouTube comments, very concerned with what people think of me.
Yeah,
so
fair enough. Yeah,
I need to make sure that they all know that I'm very smart and I got very good grades and I know how to pronounce Gaia.
I was sad that we didn't get any of her voice in this, so we could do dueling Eartha Kitts together.
Yes.
Piper.
You fool.
You fool.
That's going to be, man, I'm assuming book 5 will have lots of Gia. And I'll have to make sure whenever I get you back on for a book 5 episode, I'll get you for the most heavy Gia talking chapter so
Excellent.
that we can just do the whole, we'll Daniel Day-Lewis it and do the whole podcast
we'll go
in Eartha Kitt, just from start to finish.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the newest Olympian.
It's a pleasure to be back.
Paul, what would your nectar and ambrosia taste like?
Oh, I would love a little Chianti. Oh, now I'm going to Silence of the
now-
Lambs.
Oh, no.
It's all mixing together.
But imagine in an alternate universe where Eartha Kitt was Hannibal Lecter.
I'm not mad at it.
That movie gets somehow scarier.
Oh, definitely scarier. Yeah.
That'd be great. All right. Anyway, Percy Jackson. So Piper's leveling with the boys. They're going against the wishes of Boreas. Keone calls her a liar and a trickster. Piper pleads with the brothers. Come on, she's working for Gia. Don't do this. And Zethys explains that they are also working for Gia now. The orders came from Boreas, which is surprising. Very surprising. Piper doesn't want to believe it. Keone explains that her dad saw reason once his Roman side started fighting his Greek side. He's incapacitated and left Keone in charge of his forces of the North Wind, which he ordered to obey King Porphyrion and Gia. So it feels like it's not really that Boreas has seen the other side, but more of the whole flashing back and forth between aspects has affected him.
And this is why primogeniture is a problem. Like, save us from Nepo Godlings, heroes of Olympus, please. Like,
Yes.
she's not ready to lead. She's just not. I'm sorry, Keone. You're not ready.
No. Should have had an application process, should have had an audition.
Yeah.
The one thing that did make me excited about this is that it does directly mention that King Porphyrion is back. And I have thought ever since The Lost Hero that it felt a little too easy, the way that he kind of got yoinked out of there when Herod was ready to spirit bomb. So I am stoked for him to return because he was hyped up to be this big baddie and we really didn't get a satisfying defeat. So I feel like that's going to be a very welcome return, at least for me, the reader who wants a good story. So Piper asks, how can you, Keone, even be here? It's the summer. And Keone says that their powers are strong enough that weather has become all topsy-turvy. And all three of these folks believe that they will be a part of the remaking of the world. Zethys proclaims that he will take Piper back to their palace and, quote, romance her most incredibly, which just, sweepin' ya off the feet right there.
Yeah.
Allow me to romance you most incredibly, please. She declines, and she charm-speak demands Zethys to release Jason, and he does. Jason, as we all remember, has been frozen in a block of ice. The block of ice melts away. He falls onto the floor, starts to catch his breath, but then Keone calls Zethys an imbecile and freezes him again. Jason, much like Nico, doesn't catch a whole lot of breaks here, but also I gotta get imbecile back in my vocabulary.
It's a great
That's
word.
a great word to throw at someone.
Yeah.
It's really good because someone who might truly be an imbecile might have to take a second to remember what that word means.
Yeah.
And it's just not expected. Like if I get into an argument on the street in New York or on a sporting field of sorts and I throw imbecile at you, it's just, you're not expecting it. It's quite the zag.
There's an alpha energy to it. It's like, not only are you an imbecile, I know how to spell imbecile and I can use it in a sentence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm so smart that I'm not just calling you an idiot. I'm calling you the fifth option in the thesaurus listing for idiot. We're getting deep in here.
We're getting deep. We're going to polysyllabic words. Do this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. One of those, you can say it imbecile or imbecile, and I think both are correct. It's a matter of how fancy you want to be. Is it data or data? Is it,
All these things.
All these things.
These are tools at our command.
Of course. Now, Keone says that Jason's destiny is to be among the other ice sculptures in her palace. She says that he shall grace her throne room. And Piper, in response to this pun, goes, clever. Take you all day to think up that line. And I think this is a great diss, because as much as I do love a pun, this is not the hardest pun to come up with. You're just saying his last name. It's not super creative. So for Piper to immediately undercut and chop down this pun, I think is a phenomenal move in terms of trash talk.
And it's also a great bit of foreshadowing for, you know, Frank is swole now, Hazel's a sorceress, all of these kids are getting power-ups, and the way he goes with Piper's power-up is so good and so funny.
The power of love for my friends and my metal friend / robot dragon.
Yeah. And also discovering my inner Regina George, essentially.
Yes. You're right. This is her awakening of I can be a mean girl.
I can psychologically destroy them.
I don't just have to command yell at people. I can break them from within. Piper knows that she needs a plan to save Jason and the crew, but she laments not having the planning skills of Annabeth, and this continues the trend of everyone in the Seven wishing that they had the powers of the other people in the Seven, which I think is very fun. Piper asks where Keone sent Leo, and Keone responds that she sent Leo to a place from which he can never return since he deserved a special punishment. Piper is worried, Keone can tell, and she monologues that Leo insulted her by refusing to rule by her side, and he disgusts her with having firepower and not ice powers. She says he could not be allowed to reach the House of Hades since Lord Clytius, whatever he is, he hates fire even more than Keone does. So really got to put Leo somewhere else. I'm excited for the next Leo chapters. Should be interesting where he's ending up.
I am not sure I remember what happens with Leo, but I think I do, so I'm going to remain quiet.
Great. The one thing I will say is I believe in the whole visions that we had in the very beginning of the book where Hecate was showing Hazel stuff. I think one of them was Leo flying through the sky. Yes. I believe one was Leo flying through the sky. One was the Argo 2 in an explosion of sorts. So I think maybe the end of this Piper chapter could be that. Mm-hmm. I think the other one was the Annabeth and Percy at a big door with a looming, towering figure over them. I think those are the three. So this could at least explain Leo toppling through the sky. So got an inkling about what might be happening, but not 100% sure. Narrator Piper says, fire, she thought. Thanks for reminding me, you witch. And I feel like the first letter in which might have been different if this was not a book for a younger audience.
One of my favorite things in movies is to watch a movie with like a PG rating and watch like adults call each other jerks. Okay. Yeah. That's the fun thing where I would love to be in the writer's room. I just want to know exactly how many points towards PG, PG-13, and R certain insults get. Because there's a whole, like in a PG-13 movie, you can say the F word once in a non-sexual way. Yep. And I'm sure there's a limit to how many times you can say the S word and stuff like that. I want to know the stats. I think that would be very fun to see the official ranking according to Hollywood. How bad is each curse word? And it's like a random group of people that do all those ratings too. It's not like a really super official board or anything like that. It's, I think, a relatively small group of people that are kind of arbitrarily deciding this. And we've all just been like, all right, we got bigger problems. Cool. Go for it. And then the radio is a whole nother thing because there's certain things that get bleeped and then sometimes it's just part of a word and sometimes it's the whole word and there seems like there's no rhyme or reason to it. Piper starts thinking about how to make fire. The box of Greek fire on deck is too far away. Festus has been switched off by Leo, and this keeps happening. Leo has poor timing for doing repairs, for not turning things on, for turning things off. I get that it's all very plot Kelly's dependent. Planner. Yes, we need a schedule. Annabeth, make a schedule. Yes. So Festus is off, and Piper is not sure that she could figure out how to turn him back on. She still thinks that Festus is her best bet, however, she just has to figure out a way to turn him back on. So Keone starts to announce their departure, but Piper stops them with a charm speak, wait! And Piper knows that she can control the boys, but not Keone, so she thinks again, WWABD. What would Annabeth do? And the answer is delay. So Piper asks Keone, why won't you just kill us, since you're so clearly afraid of us? Now, I don't want to Monday morning quarterback this question, Piper. I'm not in your situation. I'm not in your shoes. But literally any other question might have been a better choice than, you could just kill us. Oh, good idea. What about where did you get that dress? Is it couture? You look lovely.
Yes, ask her about her accessories. We talk about this in Professional Talkers, me and Sequoia's podcast, all about conversational advice. Get people talking about their outfit choices. People love to talk about their outfit choices. Please, if you see me in public, ask me about my outfit choices. Everything has been meticulously decided.
Of course.
From shirt to socks to pants to underwear, depending on which are clean, I have chosen intentionally. That'd be way better. This is how I feel sometimes in action movies. I'm sure you see this a lot with 80s movies when someone has a gun and the person like puts it to their forehead and they're like, do it, I dare you. It's like, what if they do?
What if they do?
What if they do it? It's such a risk.
You're really kind of giving them permission here. Like, if they weren't going to, you're saying you should. Don't do that.
Don't do
Ask
it.
what they had for lunch. Do you have any recommendations in the area? Like, come on.
What was your hometown like?
Yeah. So was Boreas like a bad father? Is that how you wound up like this? Or are you just, is this just a natural part of your personality? You know what I mean?
Are you going to root for the Toronto Tempo now that there is a women's WNBA team in Canada, or no, since you're not from Toronto?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Like these, all these good questions that you could ask other than why not just kill us?
What do you think about the bad Montreal bagels?
Exactly.
I gain power every time someone tells me they've had the Montreal bagels and they didn't like them. Someone told me that on tour. They were like, I went to Montreal and I had the bagels that you don't like. My husband liked them and he was excited to share them with me and I hated them. And I was like, yes, I grow stronger. All right, I got to stop giving strays to Montreal. Let's keep it going with other Canadians. Keone says that death is not punishment enough. It's too quick, and they'll probably be given new lives or granted Elysium because they're so good. Why would I reward you?
Every time I read something about being reborn into a new life now, I just saw Cat's the Jellicle Ball, and I start thinking of Memory.
Okay. I've heard that it's good.
Here's what you have to go in knowing. Cats, the musical, is stupid.
Yes.
It is stupid at its core. It will never not be stupid. But they have placed it in like the drag culture, and it is, I've never had an experience being like, well, that was just joyful for like 2 hours, basically. And you leave uplifted. It's such a blast. I highly recommend. If you're coming to New York, even if, again, you think Cats is stupid, I believe you'll have a good time seeing Cats the Jellicle Ball.
Amazing. Yeah. Look, on my ever-growing list of shows to see, it's up there, and it's, it might have just risen a spot or two.
There you go.
Piper asks, why are you keeping me alive? And Keone says, oh, because Zethes wants you. And Zethes chimes in to say that he kisses magnificently, which again is a weird way to say it, but it did harken back to my high school era when that was like a concern, like an active fear of like, I don't know what I'm doing. I hope I've seen enough movies and I'm just like mimicking Tom Cruise in Top Gun with the big silhouette of the tongue. Like I'm hoping I'm doing a good enough job from what the source material I've seen.
And the problem with that is that movies so often depict like it's very hot to get your faces really close and just breathe into each other's mouths. And kids, that's not hot. That's not what you want to do. It's weird. It gets weird mere seconds after you start. Like what looks good on camera is not always what feels good in real life. Mm-hmm. We must learn these things. Yeah.
There's just such a fear of mine. It was just like, what if my girlfriend thinks I'm bad and then tells all her friends and then breaks up with me? Like, I couldn't blame her, but like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah. I'm groping around in the dark.
So he kisses magnificently, thank goodness. Piper feels sick to her stomach. Keone says, well, it's not just that. It's also because I hate you, Piper, deeply and truly. I'm convinced that Jason would have stayed with me in Quebec if not for you, which I think is a bit of a stretch, as does Piper, who very Regina George says, delusional much?
As if.
Yeah, this feels like just outdated enough when this book was written in the mid-2010s for Rick to exactly write it. And I feel like at the time it was like, I think you're a little late on delusional much.
Yeah. It's more my era, I think, than Piper's era.
Yeah, this feels more clueless than Mean Girls.
100%. Yeah.
Now, Keone says, quote, you are a meddler, the daughter of a useless goddess. What can you do alone? Nothing. Of all the 7 demigods, you have no purpose, no power. I wish you to stay on the ship, adrift and helpless, while Gia rises and the world ends. And I think that Keone is wrong, but she is spitting. I like the attempt. I don't think it's good for the goddess of ice to say you're a useless demigod. Like, oh, the goddess of love is useless. Take it from me, the goddess of the freezer. Like, I don't think it's great.
I think all Piper needs to say is, oh, you're going to say that if Aphrodite's not all mixed up with Venus right now? Because we talked to her earlier and she's pretty much okay. And if I know my history correctly, Aphrodite/Venus can be pretty spiteful and imaginative, in my experience.
Very creative. So
yeah,
you don't want to bark up that tree. CUNY mentions that she wants to ensure Piper is out of the way, and then she motions to Zethys, who begins to form a spiky snow bomb that he says is a gift for Piper. Piper says, flowers would have sufficed. And Zethys explains that it won't kill her, but it should unleash the full force of the north winds, and it should knock the ship significantly off course. CUNY says that they can watch the world end from the end of the world. Quote, perhaps you can charm speak the fish and feed yourself with your silly cornucopia. You can pace the deck of this empty ship and watch our victory in the blade of your dagger. When Gia has arisen and the world you knew is dead, then Zethys can come back and retrieve you for his bride. What will you do to stop us, Piper? A hero? Ha! You are a joke.
I mean, good villain monologuing.
Good,
she probably wrote that in
good.
advance, but like she memorized it and she delivered it well.
In the shower, she was like, oh, end of the world. From the end of the world. End of the world. And from the end of the world. Rushes out, dries her off, opens up her notes app. End of the world. From the world's end.
I am going to kill her with this.
This is going to be so good.
So this especially stings for Piper because she has the same thoughts, which I feel bad about, but much like the Seven, she's always doubting herself. Everybody has these self-doubt problems. Piper considers just crashing out and charging at these enemies with her blade, knowing that she would probably die in the process, but she can tell that's what CUNY wants, so she doesn't want to do it. Narrator Piper says, quote, Piper's spine turned to steel. She remembered the girls who used to make fun of her at the wilderness school. She remembered Drew, the cruel head counselor she had replaced in Aphrodite's cabin, and Medea, who had charmed Jason and Leo in Chicago, and Jessica, her dad's old assistant, who had always treated her like a useless brat. All her life, Piper had been looked down upon, told she was useless.
I have got notes for Jessica. What is going on with Jessica? I mean, look, I get the other people I'm not thrilled about, but like Medea, evil sorceress, Drew, mean girl. Jessica, you're just her dad's assistant. Maybe be nice. Maybe be nice, Jessica. Come on.
Especially because I don't know a lot about the whole assistant to a famous movie star industry. But I feel like if you're a good dad and your daughter says, hey, your assistant is really mean to me, if I'm that dad, I'm going to fire her and get another assistant. I'm not saying that the job is easy, but it feels like a job where you could find a replacement easily. You could find someone willing to do the job quite quickly. So I wouldn't be a jerk to the daughter of my employer.
Yeah. And I didn't remember that from earlier. I'm sure it was earlier in the books and I just forgot about it. But I when that was like the ending of that list, I was like, oh, we went demigod, sorceress, my dad's assistant. That's it. It doesn't feel like a build.
I remember. It wasn't until they said it that I remembered her. I remember she had the Palm Pilot, which is very dated reference. I forgot her name was Jessica. I don't know why I thought it was like Janet or Jill. No, okay, so I've Googled it. Okay. Literally, I was like, wasn't her name like Jill or Jane or something? And it's Jane. So I think Rick messed it up.
Rick made a Messica.
Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah. I'm going to just quick Google Jessica Jane Tristan McLean and see. Okay, so at least I don't like the Google AI stuff. It does start with Jane in parentheses, sometimes referred to as Jessica. That's good. That's really good. Oh, wow. And then someone on the Camp Half-Blood subreddit, it's just like a quick pull, so it doesn't give a spoiler, but it says also for the out-of-line ex-secretary Jessica/Jane. That's great.
Maybe it's Piper's nascent mean girl being like, I don't remember her name. She sucked.
Yeah, what's her name? Jessica? That's fine. That's a very good retcon. Yeah. The thing that I was thinking, though, is when I finish each book in the Percy Jackson world, a bonus episode that I do on Patreon is I do the Sporkle quiz of every character mentioned, and they rank them by like most to least, and I just try to see like, can I remember all the characters? And I just know I'm going to forget all of these people getting mentioned, and I'm just earmarking it now for when I'm later upset about it, and I will be upset about it, and I'll remember this, but I won't remember Drew and Jessica, especially because her name is Jane.
Sure. Fair enough. And you knew that That was in there.
I just felt, I was like, I thought it was a 1-syllable J name. I thought it was, I would have guessed, I think, Jill. But Jessica, I was like, Jessica, really? I didn't think it was Jessica. And there we are. There it is. So Jessica Jane, how funny, how fun. I'll razz Rick about this next time I interview him. I won't do it. I won't do it. That'll be a waste of time. I have other questions I need to ask him. So anyway, the rest of the story, then there's a voice that rings out in Piper's head that sounds like Aphrodite. The voice tells Piper that every enemy who has badmouthed Piper has done so out of fear and envy. She encourages Piper to use that against Keone here. So narrator Piper says, quote, Piper didn't feel like it, but she managed to laugh. She tried it again, and the laughter came more easily. Soon she was doubled over, giggling and snorting. And as you mentioned, with the mean girl element, this is really good.
Yeah.
This is something for Charmspeak I didn't consider, but it's quite powerful. I like this a lot.
Yeah, I agree. This turn is really great. I also love, like, I know it can sometimes feel a little bit samey about like all of the 7 wish they were like the other, everyone else is so much better than me, and it can feel like that. But I like the lesson that's within that of like, like your friends are your strength, and like that's cool, and not everyone's going to be good at everything, and that's great. But like, I don't know, have you ever seen The Neverending Story?
I have not.
Okay, so like the end of The Neverending Story, there's this incredibly...
Wait, at the end of The Neverending Story?
Yeah, I know, it's hard.
Oh.
The end of the movie.
Oh, okay.
The story does canonically continue beyond the movie. But like the villain does talk about how like the way to destroy someone is to make sure they have no hope. Right? Like, and that's what like Keone is doing here. Like she's trying to be like, you are nothing. And then to laugh at that is such a good undercut of that. Like, you've accomplished nothing. I'm laughing at your attempts.
Yeah. Laughter as a response to someone trying to get in your head is very effective. LeBron James did it recently in the NBA playoffs, where Alperen Şengün of the Houston Rockets tried to say that a foul that was called on LeBron was soft, and LeBron responded by first laughing, incredible, and then saying, because Alperen Şengün gets a lot of soft calls called for him, he said, you're the only person on the court that can't say that. The rest of your team, it's fine. You can't say it. Just, and then he made the free throw while laughing. It was really powerful stuff from LeBron. Really, really, really good stuff.
The other guy is like, I'm going to need a burn unit. I'm going to need some aloe vera.
Wikipedia.com/list of burn centers in the United States. Yeah. It's just good to laugh at someone trying to get you off your game, because it just undercuts. Like, it is always inherently a risky move to try and throw someone off by getting and appealing to their emotions. And for someone to go, okay, yeah, like this is going to work. Oh, it's powerful. Very, very powerful. I like it a lot. Good honor. So then Cal and Zethys join in the laughter. So this is very good for Piper, and it causes Keone to falter. She asks, what's so funny? She's got her on the ropes. Piper says that Keone's brain must have freezer burn if she really thinks that Piper is powerless and useless. And I would like to suggest a punch-up. She should have instead said, do you have a brain freeze? Because I feel like it's right there. Brain with freezer burn. Brain freeze was right there.
Yeah, fewer syllables, sharper, more direct to the point. Yep. Yeah, I agree.
She has to think about it for a second, which will then make her more angry when she gets it. Like, oh, what do you have, a brain freeze? Like, oh, yeah.
When she tells the other heroes what happened, she's going to say that's what she said.
Yeah. I've done that before.
100%.
I've 1,000% done that before.
Of course. Everyone has done that.
When it's a thing when like no one can fact check it, like a thing that I yelled at a stranger, and then afterwards I was like, oh, I should have said this. It's like, I did say this.
Maybe I did.
Maybe I did. No one can fact check
me.
what
I said.
No one will ever prove me wrong. So Piper says, quote, you don't know my secret, do you? And Keone thinks she's lying. Piper goes, okay, whatever. Yeah, go ahead and take my friends. Leave me here. Useless. Yeah, Gia will be really pleased with you. It's risky, but I like it. I respect it. I really do.
You're at the end of your rope. You got to roll the dice, see what happens.
Go for it. Go for it. Zethys is convinced. Cal is interested in eating pizza and playing hockey. Keone is not buying it. Piper is trying to sell it with a look of mischief and humor in her eyes, and it works because Keone caves. She demands that Piper reveal her secret, and the book ends the chapter with the following, quote, Piper shrugged. Suit yourself. She pointed casually towards the prow. Follow me, ice people. And that's the end of chapter 43, which I have retitled, as we always do. We retitle them since they don't have cool, fun titles. I have retitled it, I Share My Big Secret. Do you have a retitling of chapter 43?
A helping of ice cold revenge.
Oh, very good. yes, very good. We'll take our mid-roll break here now, the House of Headlines, before we get into the final 2 chapters of this episode. Woo! Hello and welcome to the House of Headlines Shubio Proper Edition. I'm in the Shubio Proper because we've got the baby sleeping in our room because we were in the arrangement where we have guests over. My parents are in town because my dad flew up to join me in watching the New York Knicks, my beloved New York Knickerbockers, my beloved 2025 NBA Cup champion New York Knickerbockers, my beloved 2026 NBA Finals champion New York Knickerbockers, my beloved 2026 double champion New York Knickerbockers win the NBA Finals, and life is joyous, and I'm really excited. Shout out to everyone who sent me positive messages. Shout out to people who said, oh, I don't really know much about basketball, but I know Mike is happy. Shout out to people who have been following because of me. Shout out to people who are Knicks fans because of me. All of the messages have been really cool. I really appreciate all the support. And one person on Reddit made a very funny comment asking, is the podcast just over now? Because are you just ascending into heaven? And no, the podcast is not over. I want to finish this thing. I want to cover all these Rick things and books and stuff. But we are distinctly entering a new era of the newest Olympian where I shoehorn talking about my beloved 2026 champion New York Knicks into every single episode. I will be so... I don't want to say annoying because the Knicks have been so bad for so much of my life and I've been so heavily invested that I've earned this, and don't you get annoyed by it because I deserve this and we all deserve this and the city deserves this and the team is amazing and lovable and beautiful and perfect and I will love them and cherish the memories until the end of my life. But we're definitely going to be hearing lots of talk of the Knicks from here on out. And you know what? You can't tell me not to. Because this podcast, at the end of the day, is about my experience. And my experience in covering the series is that partway through, the Knicks did the impossible and won the NBA title. Pretty cool. I was there with Johnny, too, which was super fun, watching the final game, ringing it in. It was great. Super good. Vibes are electric. Listen to the episodes of Horse that just go into detail. I just recorded the one with Adam where we just talk about how cool this was for a full hour. And it was great. But let's talk about Percy Jackson stuff. Honestly, not much new things because all of my free time has been spent watching or worrying about my beloved 2026 champion New York Knickerbockers. But there's stuff going on. We got live shows. We've got 3 coming up in the Northeast in the near future. We're going to Brooklyn, New York on August 15th, where I will be talking about the Knicks a lot. And then we've got shows in Boston and Philly. Boston's on the 20th of September. Philly's on the 27th of September. I will also be talking about the Knicks a lot, given that we have beaten Boston and Philly in order to attain this championship. Philly directly, Boston, we didn't actually square off against them. But come to the shows. It's going to be great. Take the train. Go to all of them. It's going to be delightful. In addition to that, I'm going to be getting stuff up. I know I keep talking about getting like the merch stuff up and bonus episode stuff up. I will. Now, look, I'm going to have some free time now because I won't have long basketball games to watch and think about and stress about and talk about and plan where I'm going to be and try and get tickets for and all this other stuff. So there will be some scheduling opening up in my life. Though, will I fill it all with celebrating? Yeah, part of it. So there will be some stuff. Just follow us on all the things. I post things on Instagram. I post it on Patreon. I post in the Discord. Stay up to date in other ways. I'm going to catch up on backlogs and other things, but we're going through. We're chugging along. Things are good. Life is good. Shout out to John Steinberg for willing this championship into existence by putting the joke into season 1 of Percy Jackson that the only thing more unbelievable than all the things that happened in the Lightning Thief are the Knicks being in the finals. Well, look, we won it. We won it. Thanks, John. But speaking of thanking people, I want to give a big thank you to the folks who have joined the Patreon most recently. Shout out to all the patrons, but shout out to the people who have joined most recently. Specifically, shout out to our newest demigod tier patrons, Simcoe and Mischief Spirit. Really appreciate the support. Thank you for it, and may you be blessed by whoever the god of games is that your sports team does well, unless they're playing one of my sports teams. But if you're all caught up in the newest Olympian and you want to check out new stuff, check out Horse. Check out Horse. It's a basketball podcast where we explain things in a way where everybody can understand. And this Knicks team in particular is very lovable. There's lots of really cool storylines at play. I go through them in the most recent episode of Horse, which is going to come out tomorrow, if you're listening to this on Monday, June 15th, when this episode drops. If you want to understand why New York is so passionate about the Knicks in general, this team in particular, what the drama is going on, what's up with Victor Wembanyama, all that kind of stuff. If you've been hearing about this and you're confused, listen to Horse. It's really fun. It's really good. And if you want to get clued in on what happened and why people are talking about it in the way they are, we're here to explain it for you. One small note about this episode, there's a point in which I talk about the cornucopia, saying that it's like a little cheesy and a little hacky. I should have called it the cornucopia. I apologize, and I pledge to do better going forward. But unless you're listening on Patreon, where you get access to ad-free episodes, you're going to hear words from a few sponsors who make it feasible for me to be a full-time podcaster. Some of those ads will be read by me, and others of them won't be. The ones that aren't read by me are inserted locally. So if you live in New York City, don't be surprised if you hear an ad screaming about how cool it was that the Knicks won. But once the ads are complete, we'll get back into this episode of the News Olympian. All right, and we're back. We're here for chapter 44, which is called Piper, but we'll retitle it, of course. It opens with, quote, "She pushed between the boreads, which was like walking through a meat freezer. It's so cold that her face and her lungs burn. She tries to focus on nothing other than Festus. And then a warm summer breeze passes across the ship, and she has a little bit of hope. Like, oh yeah, these people aren't supposed to be here. We can do this. We can do this." She thinks about how her chat with Hazel last night made her realize that charm speaking is pretty similar to mismanipulation. So she thinks about how in the past, things have been hard because she's always trying to convince people to go against their wishes and do what she wants. And now she's thinking, especially because Aphrodite is about subtlety and charm, she thinks she should take a page out of Hazel's book and try to get people to do what they want. So I like this teamwork coming together. We're realizing things about each other because of talking about our problems.
Yes.
Let's do that more often.
Please talk to each other.
Communication is key. So Piper then stops and faces Keone, saying, "Oh, I just realized why you hate us so much. We embarrassed you in Sonoma." And then Keone shoots a bit of an uncomfortable look at her brothers, and Piper goes, "Oh, you didn't tell them? I don't blame you. You had a giant king on your side, plus an army of wolves and earthborn, and you still couldn't beat us." I love this a lot. I was confused as to how this was going to be trying to charm speak the ice people into doing what they want. We'll see what she actually meant by it. But my first thought was, great trash talk. Aren't you supposed to be trying to talk to them about what they want?
Shouldn't you focus up a little bit here, girl? I mean, like, I love the energy. I love it.
Yeah. But we'll see. The plan is a little different. Zethi says this must be a lie, as Keone told us that they, quote, tactically retreated. And Cal says, treats are good. Piper explains that retreat means that Keone ran away, and Keone insists that she didn't, but Piper reminds Keone of Hera calling her a D-list goddess, which is
original
Zethi's
mean girl Hera.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Zethi's finds that insult funny, Cal finds running away funny, and then Keone covers both of their mouths with ice and demands Piper to show the secret, or she will give Piper frostbite. So then Piper brings them over to Festus and asks if they remember him, and Keone says, "This cannot be the secret. This is your broken dragon. His fire is gone. This can't be it." Narrator Piper says, quote, "She didn't have Leo's power to make gears turn or circuits spark. She couldn't sense anything about the workings of a machine. All she could do was speak her heart and tell the dragon what he most wanted to hear." So then I realized, oh, we're talking to Festus. That's the charm speak. We're getting Festus to do what Festus wants. And then Piper continues that Festus is a living creature, not just a machine.
We did skip over one thing I want to bring up before we get too far ahead of it. She kind of casually mentions that she's seen pictures of frostbite victims.
Okay, yes. I wondered if this was a thing to bring up or not.
I have gone my whole life strenuously avoiding pictures of frostbite victims, and I don't know why. Like, is she watching The Pitt? I feel like that was something you would see on The Pitt. Like, don't Google frostbite victims, kids. It's not a good image search.
Piper's a teenager in 2014. So she's a little younger than me. I think this is kind of just like our era of things with a Google image allows you to see things. It's just the temptation is there. Like, I have never Googled this one, but it's the infamous I think it's blue pancake or blue waffle.
Oh, I don't know.
Google
this.
neither of them.
Okay,
Nobody do it. But it's one of those things where I don't know how this became a thing. I want to say it's some sort of disease or sort of sorts on someone's private parts, but they did somehow the internet got together to where if you Google the seemingly innocuous phrase, you get a disgusting image. People should absolutely not Google this. And that just was like a thing you would trick people into doing in high school for people my age. So I think just like the curiosity of with Google Images, just like knowing you can just Google anything.
Yeah.
That might be there. I don't know that I've ever Googled frostbite or if I saw it in high school English class. We watched that movie adaptation of a book where there's the guy and his dog Pepper, and he gets trapped out in the winter and he fails to light matches and he dies of the cold. I don't know if it shows him getting frostbite. I forget the name of the story, but we read it and then watched the movie adaptation.
It does sound educational.
My friends
like, don't go hiking with your dog.
It was one of those, it was like a trained like snow dog kind of thing, but like, yeah, I don't know. So, no, but when I read this, I was like, just don't Google it, dude. Yeah. My brain was like, I wonder what it looks like. I was like, no. Just don't do it. You just don't need to know. It's
I
bad.
had the same instinct. I was like, why? And it was like, no, you don't want to see that. You know you don't want to see that.
There's no benefit except going, the benefit of knowing is just not going to help you. You don't want frostbite regardless. So you don't need to see what it looks like to know you don't want it. No. Keone thinks that this is hogwash and tells the boys to gather the frozen up crew of the Argo 2, and Piper says that they shouldn't do that as they would miss seeing Piper make a fool out of Keone. So she starts chatting up the boys, mentioning how this ship is named after the original Argo crew that they fought alongside with original Jason. Keone begins to freeze over her lips, but Piper says if you do this, you won't learn how we plan to defeat you and Gia and the Giants. So then Piper starts wringing her hands behind Festus's ears, saying that he's a good friend and more than a machine, and Keone just doesn't understand that. And then she turns to the boys and says that Keone does not respect you either. She thinks that you are beneath her, since you are demigods and not full-fledged gods. She doesn't see that you all make for a powerful team. Great. Love turning a henchman against the big boss move. Always smart.
Use all your tools.
Smart.
All your tools.
Gotta. Absolutely. Cal says, a team like the Canadians, a hockey team.
Uncle Rick is really doing the work to erase all the good stuff the heated rivalry put out in the world about hockey players. This guy, look, based on evidence, it seems like maybe Uncle Rick's a little closer to the real thing, but this is two very disparate visions of the men who play hockey.
Heated Rivalry, one that I probably can watch because I don't know enough about hockey to be off-put by what is certainly bad hockey. There's no way those boys are good at hockey.
And they fully admitted that. They were like, we do not know how to play hockey. And I would say that the show goes out of its way to not show you that much of it. It's really quite low on the hockey for being about two professional hockey players.
It's a show about boys who happen to play hockey. It's not a hockey show about boys.
It's a show about boys who kiss boys who happen to play hockey.
But of course. So Piper agrees with the Canadians comment, and I'm saying Canadians because this team name is spelled with an E at the end. That is intentional. Piper agrees, saying that the sum is greater than the parts. Cal says that pizza is the same way, and Piper says, you're right, I underestimated your intelligence. Zethys chimes in to say, I'm smart too, and I'm also very handsome. And Piper says, yes, very smart, very intentionally ignoring the part where he mentioned his looks, which I think is very funny. She tells Zethys to put the wind bomb down and watch Keone get her comeuppance, and Zethys smiles and rolls it down the deck. Keone calls him a fool and turns for the sphere, but stops when Piper introduces their secret weapon. Festus, quote, he's alive, he's my friend, and when his friends are in trouble, especially Leo, he can wake up on his own. She pours all her love and appreciation that she has for Festus into this, and her rational brain thinks, this is ridiculous, but Aphrodite is never rational, so who cares? Aphrodite rules through emotions, and she's the oldest and most primordial of the Olympians, being born from the blood of Oranos churning in the sea. And I think it's a more risque description than that, but this is a kid's version.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah. And at first nothing happens, but then the boys snap out of the charm speak, and Keone decides to forgo their plan and just kill Piper instead. But thankfully, Festus wakes, turns 180 degrees, and blasts the boys into dust, leaving behind only Zethys' sword. And it never gets talked about in the rest of this chapter, but I feel like it's gonna come back. Otherwise, why would they say that?
Yeah, I do not remember this, but I was like, Chekhov, Zethys' sword is very important right here. Why is this here? What could this do? I really don't know.
That zigzaggy sword is being used for something.
Yep, absolutely. Something's getting turned to stone or ice or something.
Yeah. Zethys goes after the sphere, but then Chione appears in front of her, calling her foolish for thinking that she could best a goddess. Festus roars, but Piper knows that he can't do a fire blast because she would be hit as well. The sphere begins to break. Piper decides to go for the stabbing with catoptris strategy instead, but Chione grabs her wrist while she's coming down with the blade, and it begins to freeze her entire arm. The blade gets covered in frost, and Chione chides her. But then Festus roars in support of Piper, and Piper feels the love that she has for her friends, Festus included, swell inside of her. Narrator Piper says, quote, maybe love was no match for ice, but Piper had used it to wake a metal dragon. Mortals did superhuman feats in the name of love all the time. Mothers lifted cars to save their children, and Piper was more than just mortal. She was a demigod, a hero. And look, if heart can be one of the rings in Captain Planet and the Planeteers, why not? Why not?
The power-ups these kids are getting. She is now full on like facing down a goddess.
Yeah.
Love it.
I like it. I think it's good. Everybody's got to power up a little bit. And I think this is, to me, more fun than some of the other situations, like Leo just assembling all of these little kind of tiny things of, oh, I can do this. 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 I like Frank's makes sense where it's like, I'm just more in tune with my demigod heritage. And same thing with this with Piper. I'm just more in tune with Aphrodite. That, to me, feels more believable as a level up.
Yeah. It's very akin to like a secondary mutation in X-Men comics. It's like, okay, we've reached the limit of this, but it's not the limit. We can just push past it. And look, we have even more power now.
I didn't know that was a thing. That's very fun. I'd have to do we get double Nightcrawler? He was always my favorite. I liked him.
Nightcrawler's the best. I don't think he has the most famous one is Emma Frost, where she's a telepath and then suddenly she can turn into Diamond as well. It's like that's a really famous secondary mutation.
Okay. Very cool. I thought with Emma Frost, you were going to say that she becomes Emma Blizzard, and then she has even better ice powers.
She becomes Emma Chione.
So the ice on Piper's blade begins to melt. Her arm starts to steam. Piper tells Chione that she is underestimating her still, and she ought to work on that. That's great. Piper brings the blade down and touches Chione's chest, and she instantly bursts into a tiny blizzard. Is this because of Chione? Did she get her in the exact right spot? This felt a little weird. Is this a catoptris thing? Like, I don't know. This just felt like a little too easy. I was confused
as well. I was like, did she flee? Like, I was like, oh, maybe like she was frightened to get stabbed with the dagger, so this is her running away.
That could be it. Yeah, teleporting out of there.
Yeah, but it's also like, I mean, you could just teleport to the other side of the ship and like freeze her from a distance. Like you're still a goddess. Yeah. Right? I don't think Chione's a planner.
Nah, doesn't seem like it. Doesn't seem like it at all.
Yeah.
So then Piper collapses, but after she hears Festus making alarm noises, remembers, oh, right, there's a literal bomb on this ship. So then the book ends this chapter with the following, quote, Piper struggled to rise. The sphere was 10 feet away, hissing and spinning as the winds inside began to stir. Piper dived for it. And it said dived because I have the British PDF. I don't know if your book says dove, but I've got the English PDF for this book around. Piper dived for it. Her fingers closed around the bomb just as the ice shattered and the winds exploded. So I've retitled chapter 44, I Start a Machine with the Power of Love. How about you?
How to Train Your Festus.
Yes, that's very good. I like it. I just really wanted to get a Huey Lewis in the News mention in there. The Power of Love just
is never a bad time.
Never a bad time. All right, we're going to conclude this episode with chapter 45, which is quite short. It's called Percy, and we will retitle it. It opens with, quote, Percy felt homesick for the swamp. And that's where we last left. Percy and crew, they were in Damison's swamp, getting the poison out of Percy and figuring out their plan going forward. They have marched onward to try and get the help of Acles, or however you say her name, and they have clearly progressed a little bit on their journey since we last saw them.
I am so intrigued in this book, like, because there's so much in this book. Like, I feel like this is so dense compared to even the last one. Like, I feel like this is like a step up. And like the fact that like the kids on the Argo 2, I don't know how all the ones you've used, the Argo 2 escape from Guantanamo Bay.
I haven't. Is that what's the guy with
Kumar.
the name? Oh, Harold Kumar. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking of what's the one with it's like I don't know what others say this. It's like the guy is stupid and all the titles are like someone does this. Like, is it
Ernest?
Ernest
goes to camp? Yeah.
Yeah, Ernest. I was going to say, is it like Eunice? Okay, Ernest. Yeah.
Ernest, yeah. So the kids on the Argo 2, now I need another one.
No. You got it.
Escape from Guantanamo Bay. Okay, I can reuse. Okay. Are in like this kind of it's an action movie, but it's like a fun action movie, and like things are happening and they're to support each other. And Percy and Annabeth are in Drag Me to Hell. Like they are.
Except it's weirdly a rom-com because it's
Yes.
the first extended date we've ever seen in the Percy Jackson universe. We got one little tiny date in Paris in the Demigod Diaries, which gets referenced. But then this is weirdly the most romantic situation we have seen between Percy and Annabeth.
And it is like you get so hard on their side in this book. Like the way they support each other is so inspiring as like an much older person who is married, who's like, oh, right, you should just be nice to the person you're married to. Like you should remember that you love them.
It always boggled my mind when I would meet people who unironically did the whole like, oh, the old ball and chain about your wife. It's like, you spend the most time with this person. If you don't like her, get a divorce. What are you doing? What are you doing to yourself? But this also makes me think, you are so right. It just makes you root for Percy and Annabeth individually and as a couple so much that I now see why people, when the Rachel Elizabeth Dare thing comes in and stuff, and especially if people listening to TNO were revisiting this, why people would just be so dismissive of that as a love triangle, because like if you know this stuff later on, like how can you even think for a second about anything else?
It's also like, you know, most high school relationships don't work out. Some do. Like my parents got together in high school and everything, but like
power to them.
Yeah, but like most don't, and that's okay and that's fine. But like if you're gonna do this kind of thing where like a, you know, for lack of a better term, end game couple is gonna meet when they're 14 or 13. I remember how old they were in the first book.
I think they're like 11 or 12 in the first one. They're quite young.
You got to sell it and like, okay, you know, this will do it. This will bond you.
That is very true.
Right now.
Yeah, because sometimes with people, I think it's always the thing where when you hear of like the high school sweethearts, it's like, did you just find the right person or like, did you not, you know, explore? That always seems like the worry to me. It's like, did you not, you know, see what else is out there and all that? If for anyone for that worked, that's awesome. I'm so happy for you. That's so cool. Meeting people who are like in their 30s that have been together for 17 years, like that rips. That is awesome.
Yeah.
But I think with this, it's like, oh, high school sweethearts, or I guess even for them, like middle school sweethearts, which is wild. But if you really want to give
sweethearts,
sixth grade sweethearts, but if you actually want to give credence to it, it's like, but we did also traverse through the deepest, darkest pit of hell together. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, you are soulmates. Gotcha.
Gotcha. Okay,
cool.
I'm with you.
Yeah, you're not settling. You're perfect together. Yeah. So compared to their current situation that they are in, the giant bed of a giant with leather all about and a dragon bone hut, that sounds like Elysium to Percy Jackson. But Percy, Annabeth, and Bob are trudging through the darkness. They are atop sharp rocks and muck pools, and the ground is just tricky enough where Percy can't relax. He has to actively think about walking. And this is very much a hiking vibe. Annabeth even mentioned this in one of the previous chapters, but this is certainly a thing. Like there is a difference between casually walking and not thinking about it and actively traversing terrain. Even if you're not going uphill or going very quickly, just like the act of having to think about navigation makes a walk so much harder.
100%.
This is why I'm all big on walk and talks as hangs, because if you keep a conversation going, and as long as you're not going at a breakneck pace, like, yeah, you can just walk for 40 minutes and not recognize it. And then, oh my gosh, look at us. We've walked 1.5 miles or something.
Yeah,
like,
we can go sit down now and not feel guilty about it.
Yeah. This is the New Yorker in us, where it's like, hey, you want to walk to Central Park and then walk through all of Central Park and just talk the whole time? Then you can get burger joint afterwards and not feel bad about getting the double patty because, like, yeah, we just walked 2 miles.
We're right by Levain. We're on the Upper West.
Levain Bakery, please. Let's go to Van Leeuwen's too.
And why not?
Coastal elite.
Coastal elites, totally.
But real talk, everybody. Van Leeuwen's ice cream is fantastic. They have a lot of really good vegan and non-dairy options.
I like their non-dairy option more too.
Because they're very smart about it. Like things that should be oaty in flavor use oat milk. Like they have like a oatmeal cream pie sort of flavor and it uses oat milk. Like, yeah, their oatmeal raisin flavor uses oat milk. Like they're very intentional. It's super smart.
Their chocolate one that uses coconut, they say it's going to taste like coconut. And you're like, it does. Yeah.
Coconut milk. Yeah, duh. They're super smart. And then Levain Bakery cookie is really good. Their cookies are very dense. So like probably split one. The pro move is however many friends you have, if there's 4 of you, get 4 different flavors and then cut them into quarters and then, you know, do that kind of thing. If you want all my different recommendations, my New York City recommendations website is at my website, Schubs, schub.es/NYCFAQ. And that's how you can get all of my recommendations recommendations. It's mostly food and also some parks, but mostly food.
If you want theater recommendations, feel free to email me.
Do it. Yeah, email Paul. Go for it. I look, we've already talked about the praises of Caddyshack Ball.
Yeah.
Have you seen Mexodus? That's the one I saw most recently.
I have not seen Mexodus yet.
Really good.
Yeah,
really
great
good.
Reviews.
Highly recommend. It's very fun. It's off Broadway. It's a little less expensive. It is super fun. It's right by Union Square, so it's very easy to get to. Fantastic stuff. It's
Excellent.
one act, no intermission, which I think every play should be.
Everything should be. Fast theater is the way to go. The intermission's a killer.
Yeah, all the like really stellar things I've seen recently have been one act, no intermission, maybe happy ending. Oh, Mary, Every Brilliant Thing, Mexodus, like just give me the one act, no intermission. I did enjoy Operation Mincemeat, but I did not need the intermission. And I think it probably could have been a one act, no intermission play. And I think it would have been better.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's just me.
Who did you see in O'Mary?
Oh, I've seen it multiple times.
Oh, yeah,
and
me
Maya
too.
Rudolph is coming at the end of the month, and I was like, well, there goes another $150.
Well, the thing is, it's the ticket prices skyrocketed again. I'm like, I can't afford to go see Maya Rudolph for the show I've seen 3 times.
I've seen it. So I saw it with Cole before they left, and then I saw it with Jinx Monsoon because I had friends who had an extra ticket, so I got to see it for free. Not that I wouldn't have paid to see Jinx, but this was like, I don't know if I can justify seeing this so quickly after, because I saw Cole in there last week, and then I saw it with Jane Krakowski. I paid for that one because I was like, I want to see her take on It's Going to Be So Different.
Yeah.
And now Maya Rudolph, it's like Kelly and I are like, we have to do it. Like
you have
it's
Maya Rudolph.
Maya Rudolph. How could you not? Ugh. It's unfortunately brilliant the way they have designed this play to where they just keep getting incredibly talented, funny people in the mix at a rotating situation. Like it's annoyingly a smart way to keep getting $100 out of my pocket.
Yep. And I heard that the woman who's the understudy is incredible. So I'm like, I kind of want to see the understudy as well. Like she's supposed to be great. Like she's not famous, but she's supposed to be incredible in it.
I wish, and I hope this play lasts forever, but I would love to, I think I've talked about doing when Kelly and I are like proper old and retired, is like we could get a tiny little apartment in Hell's Kitchen or something, and then just do the thing on like the theater app, which is a great app if anyone wants to get last minute tickets. It's theater without the second E. No free ads, but they do a great job, where people just have to like panic get rid of tickets like 5 minutes before a show starts. And we live in Queens, so it's like I can go to a play with short notice, but not that short of notice.
Yeah.
But if we were like walking distance from a play and you were just like, oh, someone's selling O'Mary tickets for $50, like, yeah, dude, like that's what I would love. I would love to do that as a retirement era thing.
100%. That's a great idea.
You know, I've got it. Life advice, food advice. We're here. Percy Jackson. So they're trudging through the darkness. And Percy says he started out all right, but now his legs are really sore. His muscles are aching, and he feels this chill that even his Draken leather tunic cannot keep at bay. And at first I was thinking, doesn't he also have a bunch of poison in his stomach? And then I remembered later on as they kept going, like, oh, right. The whole Damison thing was getting the poison out. Annabeth is what's keeping him going. She is his reminder that there is warmth in the world, and he feels for Annabeth because he can tell that she was fully convinced that they needed Damison's help to succeed, and he wasn't willing to fully give them his help. I think, and obviously your trapdoor's got to stay intact, I feel like this guy's going to come back dramatically, having a change of heart in the end of the book. It just feels like what has been teed up, but I like that Percy recognizes my girlfriend is the big planning person, and her plan is not going to plan, so she feels sad, so I need to keep that in the front of my mind.
I would like to say really quickly in defense of Percy Jackson, because he has recently had to deal with all of those spirits being like, we're cursing you with all the monsters that you mindlessly murdered. And I get the idea of taking responsibility. That's a great lesson. But we also should just, on the other side, say like, not many of those monsters were like, let's chat.
True.
Let's talk it out. Like he wasn't always the aggressor. That's all I'm saying.
No, completely valid. Completely valid. I think that's why most of the curses came from people where we had like a little bit of sympathy. There wasn't a lot of talk of, the people that were just self-defense kills, if you will. Narrator Percy lets us know that they have not seen Polybites and his crew since they've left, but Percy can feel Polybites' hatred in the air.
Say that 5 times fast.
I know. Polybites'
hatred.
Polybites' hatred. Polybites' hatred. Polybites. Oh no, I only got it to 3. Percy tries to think of good things to keep his spirits up. Camp Half-Blood, his first kiss with Annabeth, a future together in New Rome. But these happy places feel like a dream, and the only reality is Tartarus. But Percy shakes this off. knowing that this is the Pitt infiltrating his thoughts and not the Pitt TV show, the Pitt with one T. I will never watch an episode. I'm too squeamish. I've also heard the fandom has become very strange and weird, and they're yelling things at the actor who is on Broadway right now, and that is deranged.
Yep.
I can't imagine that.
Agreed. I'm also squeamish and I have not watched it. My husband watches it and I'm like, okay, bye. I'll see you in an hour.
I can't get through Grey's Anatomy. You think I'm going to get through an accurate medical show? Oh,
No.
Absolutely not. Miss me with that. So then Percy thinks, knowing that this is the Pitt infiltrating his thought, how did Nico survive down here? And now he has gained more respect for the lad. Oh, just wait, Percy. You're about to be in a very interesting position with Nico D'Angelo. I cannot wait for the next chapter with the two of those boys in the same room. Oh my God. I would love, and Nico's not been the narrator yet, but if that chapter, by some grace of Rick Riordan, turns into a Nico narration, it'd be so good. Because I would love for Nico narration to be like, Percy with his broad shoulders and his well-defined cheekbones.
And Jason's just standing in the back like, I don't know if I should leave or stay. I don't know what to
ally
do.
Jason. What an ally. Love Jason.
I remember that in that, I didn't talk about this earlier, but the way that Rick Riordan had Jason, because in the beginning of the chapter, there's some like kind of comment where he's like, oh, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I've never thought about it kind of thing. And then like, as soon as it comes clear what's going on with Nico, he's like, oh, but that's my friend. He like snaps into it. It's like, it's nice that he didn't feel the need to make Jason, like, for lack of a better term, like perfect immediately.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
There's a little bit of a growth there, which is nice.
Yeah, earlier in the chapter, he was a male god figure, says they had a boyfriend, and he's like, boyfriend? Oh. And then as the narrator is like, oh yeah, that was weird, that my first thought was that wouldn't work, my bad. And then, a couple pages later, then we get the reveal and Jason is better. So yes, I think it's good to kind of have a character let us know. You don't have to be perfect. You do just have to get to the point where you are very nice to anyone along the spectrum and not be weird about it. And Jason was very much not weird about it. So shouts to him.
Jason
and shouts to Rick
it
for putting that in there.
Yeah.
I like Jason. He's a good dude. I'm going to be sad when he dies, as I've predicted. But anyway, Percy Jackson. So Percy is thinking of these happy thoughts, but then the bad thoughts, and then the Nico. Percy lets us know that staying focused has become harder the deeper that they have traveled through Tartarus. Percy says that this place is worse than the river Cocytus, and Bob says, oh, it's much worse. That means we're close, which is great. Percy wonders, what are we close to? But he doesn't have the courage to ask. He sees that Small Bob is hiding in Bob's coveralls again, and he thinks, of all of us, Small Bob is the smartest. Annabeth then grabs Percy's hand and tells him that they're going to get through this because they are together. Narrator Percy notes her beauty, and Percy goes, piece of cake. Annabeth requests that they go to a nicer location for their next date, and Percy says, well, Paris was nice, and I love that the Demigod Diaries got mentioned. Yay!
Yeah.
Annabeth says that she would settle for New Rome as long as he was there too, and that's big, given that she was pretty anti-New Rome previously until this book, when things were so bad, she was like, I would love to have a boring life now. My bad.
You know what's worse than New Rome? Tartarus. Turns out.
Yeah.
New Rome seems pretty great right now.
Chill, uneventful life is way better than events that are bad all the time. Narrator Percy says, quote, man, Annabeth was awesome. For a moment, Percy actually remembered what it was like to feel happy. He had an amazing girlfriend. They could have a future together. Just love it. So cute. So the darkness then dissipates, and they see a clearing ahead, and the book ends the chapter with the following, quote, a barren field of dust and stones. In the centre, because I have the British book, about 20 yards away, knelt the gruesome figure of a woman, her clothes tattered, her limbs emaciated, her skin leathery green. Her head was bent as she sobbed quietly, and the sound shattered all Percy's hopes. He realized that life was pointless, his struggles were for nothing. This woman cried as if mourning the death of the entire world. We're here, Bob announced. Achilles can help. Ooh. So feels like more of the bad vibes that were happening in the pit are emitting out of her. The fact that she is sobbing doesn't help. Very worried about what's to come. But that's the end of the chapter, which I've retitled The Darkness Clears, because it happens literally, but then also internally because of Annabeth and all this other stuff. How have you retitled this chapter?
Hiking in Tartarus is the pits.
Yes, it is. It truly is. Well done on the puns. I, for the first time, did some non-pun ones. I always try to do pun ones for the live shows because I love hearing the crowd go, So for these, I was like, I don't have to go full pun. I can do some other things.
I went full pun for you.
Thank you for the balance. Balance has been restored to the Noose Olympian. But it's the end of this chapter. It's the end of this episode. Paul, thank you so much for joining. So glad to have you back.
Thank you so much for having me back. It was a thrill.
It was a delight. If people want to find you doing doing stuff? Where can they find you doing stuff?
They can find me at That Age Well. That Age Well podcast drops every Monday. After you're done with Mike, you can go listen to That Age Well. It is not a family-friendly podcast. We curse on it. We say all kinds of things on it. I did have one listener that came over, reach out, and very lovely was like, you did say that it was explicit, but this is explicit. It is. I'm not kidding. The little E mark is there on all of them. But, we have a good time. And I would love to have you come listen to it. You can just go through, find a movie you like, hit play.
Or a guest you like me. I did
That's right.
Beverly Hills Cop, which does age well and is very funny. And I think is underrated, even though it is critically acclaimed. And everyone should watch that movie and then listen to that episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But Paul, thank you so much for joining. Listeners, thank you for listening. And until next time, as we see what's up with this leathery green lady, until then, I'll foresee you later. Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of The Newest Olympian. This podcast is created, hosted, and produced by me, Mike Schubert. I also run the social media and the website. Our editor is Sherry Guo. The music is by Bettina Campamanes and Brandon Grugel, and the art is by Jessica E. Boyd. If you just cannot get enough of the show, there's a couple of different things that you can do. First off, you can find us on social media. We're at Newest Olympian on Instagram and other places, but Instagram's where we're most active. You can also support the show on Patreon. TheNewestOlympian.com/Patreon is where you get access to bonus episodes, director's commentaries, behind-the-scenes looks in the pod, as well as our Discord. It's a phenomenal community with lots of wonderful TNO listeners. You can get access to that. The TNO Patreon is also where you can get live show replays and other digital goodies. But you can also go to thenewsolympian.com/merch to rep the show with some physical and digital merch as well. Speaking of the Patreon, let's give a shout out to our producer level patrons in the Olympic court level of the Patreon. So shout out to Kelsey Gillespie, Vicky Garcia, Frida, Megan Moon, Holly Burge, Nikki Harris, Tatiana Schmidt, Sam Reeby, Mrs. O'Leary, Milo Kim, Sandkopf, Rayla Matthews, Sky Mallory, Mick Walters, Grace, Bradimus Prime, Skylar Sisters, Scott Sheldon, Ann M. Thayer Cohen, Bella, Percy Jackson, Kit Kat Crumbs, Andrea, not Andrea, Terry Rothfuzz, Certified Ghost King's Emotional Support Friend, Lee Hartley, Marco Redhouse, and Raccoon Moon 149. If you want to support the show in a non-monetary way, word of mouth is huge. It goes a long way for podcast growth. So you could talk about the show with someone directly. You could post about it on social media. You could leave us a rating and review on whatever podcasting app you're using. All these things really do help. I appreciate anyone who has done it in the past or will do it in the future. But I'm just so thankful that you tuned into this episode, and hope you tune into our next episode where we'll be joined by our own Sherry Guo to cover chapters 46 through 48 of The House of Hades. But until then, I'll see you later. Hey everyone, how's it going? It's me, ASMR Mike. I went to game 4 of the NBA Finals, which was like this really big history-making comeback, and the Knicks won, and it was awesome. And I took a couple of voice memos of like big moments, and I'll put a voice memo in here from one of those as the celebration. But that'll be the ASMR Mike segment. Thank you so much for listening.